Hi, my name is Andrew Spikes. I'm the CEO of Missio, and I want to share with you 4 principles for how to not waste money in marketing. If you're watching this today, you're probably a faith-driven leader who has some sort of a budget responsibility, or you just have a dedicated amount of money that you're trying to use to solve a problem, right? It may be, a very short-term budget, or it could be a long-term budget. Either way, you have a fiscal responsibility, right? There's a stewardship, if you're a faith-driven leader, to use that money wisely. You want to use it for the best possible outcome. After all, it's all God's money anyway, right? So we want to use it the best way. But a lot of the tension comes from trying different things in marketing that just don't work. How many times have you wasted money in marketing? I've wasted money in marketing. I've failed, and I've learned from that to succeed. And over my years of doing this at a Fortune 50 brand, and now with hundreds of churches all over the world, I'm going to share with you 4 principles that you can use and take with you so that you don't waste any more money in marketing. This is very practical and it's strategic. Number 1 is make sure you identify and define the problem you are trying to solve. A lot of times, I'm surrounded by marketers, surrounded by creatives, and they say, Andrew, check out this new font. We should totally invest in this new font. Andrew, check out this new software. We should totally do this. I'll have a client, hey, should we do this, and this, and billboards and all this stuff? You have to identify first the problem you're trying to solve. Does that new font solve your marketing problem? Does it get more customers, right? If you're a church, does it bring more people into the door? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. If it's a perception play and you're trying to improve the overall brand, yeah, potentially, right? So you have to think about and identify, write down the problem first that you're trying to solve. And what this does is it makes sure that every dollar you invest or every decision that you make after this ties back to that problem that you're trying to solve. Number 2 is quantify the value of that problem. What would it take to solve it in terms of it could be a financial thing if you're a business, right? Maybe it's an emotional or spiritual impact. What is the value of solving that problem, right? What is it worth to you, right? And this can be, like I said, if it's a business, it's a little easier because you can say, hey, if we have a growth goal of 25% this year, well, that's a growth goal of a monetary amount, right, that affects your bottom line. And you can actually point to the P&L and say, this is what it's worth. And you can say, well, if our costs stay the same or our overhead stays the same and we don't make this money, well, then this is how much we lose, right? You have to identify the value that solving that problem does for your organization. Number 3 is you have to first jot down what you're willing to spend to solve that problem. What you're willing to spend to solve that problem. A lot of times you can say, well, in a business world, as an example, just because we can use numbers here, solving this problem is, $100,000. Well, what are you willing to spend to capture that increase of $100,000? Are you willing to spend $20,000 to get $100,000? Are you willing to spend $50,000? Right? Boil this down though into the micro decisions that you have in marketing. So, let's say that you have an idea to do Facebook ads or Google ads, and there's not a set budget, but generally you have about $5,000 of ad spend to work with. Well, if that's all you have to spend, what will get you the most return, right? And that's how you define what you're willing to spend to get the return. So what are you willing to spend? There will come to a point, though, where you see diminishing returns. $1 in will not always equal $10 out. It'll start there, but then it'll go to $9 and to $8 and to $7. And this gets to our 4th point on how to not lose money in marketing. Always start and put your first dollar towards the highest return. Max that opportunity out. Go to the next dollar and put the next dollar towards the next highest return. The best example for this is in digital advertising. And what do I mean by that? Well, in Google Ads as an example, you may have a certain set of keywords that you really, really want to get, right? And you bid on those keywords and they're cheap and they convert really high. They have a massive ROI to them, right? Well, invest as much as you can into those types of keywords, right? That ad group. There's only so many people though who are searching for those specific searches. You're going to hit a point where you can't invest another dollar because there's only 100 or 1,000 people searching for what it is that you're trying to target. But you have money left. So then you say, all right, what's the next highest return? Well, it's this other ad group that it's not quite as good as the first one, but it's still a really, really good one. And so we're going to put our next dollar to that one. And what this is it quantifies your decision making. Alternatively, you can just sort of make guesses on where you think you should put money in your advertising, your marketing for your business. This way actually gets you the best and the highest return, and hang in there with me, it preserves your risk to capital. If you're investing your first dollar towards the highest return, then you're preserving your money for other, more risky, less return, interest groups, ad groups, that sort of thing. That the Google ads is an example, but you can also sort of make this more of a macro decision and say, hey, the highest return is in Google ads in general. Our next highest return is in Facebook ads in general, right? Our third highest return is in, display ads, right? Or YouTube ads. But start with your highest return and then work your way down from there. So that's the 4. Number 1 is identify and define the problem you're trying to solve. Number 2, what is the value of solving that problem? Number 3, what are you willing to risk to solve that problem? And number 4 is put the first dollar towards the highest return, take the next dollar, towards the next highest return, and go from there. But always focus on the highest return. Those are the 4 steps. I hope that's been helpful. Hey, take a moment. If this is a tension point for you and you're saying, hey, this is all great, but I'm not really sure how to execute that. This is a challenge, right? Is knowing where to go and how to do. And the biggest marketing question is, what is the right thing to do? And then how do I do that right thing right? And then more importantly, how do I know I'm doing it right or wrong so that I can adjust? If this is you, you're not alone. In fact, we help faith-driven leaders all of the time with this exact challenge and this exact tension point. And we would love to come alongside you. And all we're saying is that it would be ideal to just have a one-on-one conversation with you to better understand your church, your ministry, your nonprofit, your business, so that we can come alongside you and provide a free, absolutely no risk, no obligation consultation to you, where you'll come alongside our director of strategy and he can take a deep dive into your organization, provide just a glimpse of things that you're doing really, really good at, and some things that you might want to take a look at. Whether we help you or not, he'll uncover all those things for you. Again, just take a peek at the button down below. We look forward to working with you and your organization. Thank you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.